Hey everybody, it's Scott from Extreme Performance Training Systems. In today's video, I want to look at a dumbbell upper body workout to go along with the dumbbell lower body workout that I posted the other day. Now again, the whole point of this video series is we want to look at a way to get a good effective full body workout with minimal equipment. So a lot of people that are training at home in their home gyms right now do have access to dumbbells or a good adjustable dumbbell set. Like I said in my lower body video, I'm always a big fan of the power block dumbbells because with one set of dumbbells, you can get 5 to 45 or even up to 90 or 125 pounds, depending on what set you buy. They're very space conscious and they're perfect for the home gym and for the home fitness training enthusiast. So for this upper body workout, all you're gonna need is a set of dumbbells, preferably a set that has some different sizes because some of the exercises are gonna allow you to use heavier weights than the others. You wanna make sure that you have access to a bench. Some people have adjustable benches and that's great. You could do some incline, decline work and things like that, but I'm just gonna demonstrate exercises which is a flat bench. So again, very minimal equipment, flat bench and a set of adjustable dumbbells or a set of dumbbells going from lighter to heavier weights, and you should be able to get through this workout just fine. Now, the first exercise that we're gonna look at is the standing shoulder press. Shoulder press is a great exercise for the deltoids, also works the triceps. And I like to do this standing because it's gonna help us, or it's gonna force us to use our torso muscles to stabilize the spine, as opposed to sitting down on a bench that maybe has a backrest where you can brace against it. And then also when we're standing up, the hips, the knees, and the ankles take some of the shock and the force, and it's not all being transferred into the spine as it is when we're sitting down, and it takes those joints out of the equation. So to do the standing shoulder press, we're gonna start out with our dumbbells, palms facing each other at the collarbone or chest. We wanna make sure that we're not starting with our elbows parallel to our shoulders because we wanna make sure we're working the shoulder through a full range of motion. And I do recommend a palms facing each other grip when you do this exercise because it's gonna internally rotate the shoulders and get them into a more anatomically correct position as opposed to externally rotating the shoulders and loading the joint in that manner. So we're gonna start out palms facing each other. We're gonna have the elbows right under the wrists. We don't want the wrists out in front of the elbows. We wanna make sure the forearm's perpendicular to the ground for good structural support with the weights. And then as we press overhead, you do have the option if you wanna rotate the dumbbells, palms facing forward, and then we just return back to the starting position. So again, with the standing shoulder press, we're gonna start with those dumbbells, palms facing each other, and then we're just gonna press the weights overhead and pulling the weights back down to the starting position. Again, when you're doing these exercises, you want to make sure that you're using a controlled tempo, that you're not going fast, but rather you're trying to focus on increasing as much muscular tension as possible by squeezing the dumbbells and really grinding through the lift in a slow, controlled manner. Now, it doesn't have to be super slow, but just maybe at a pace that if I told you to stop at any point during the repetition, you could do that. So again, that's our standing shoulder press, and we're going to recommend 3 to 4 sets of about 8 to 12 repetitions of this exercise. The second exercise we want to look at is the dumbbell chest press, or the dumbbell bench press. A great exercise for the chest, the front of the deltoid, front of the shoulder, as well as the triceps. So with the bench press, we're going to do the same thing we did with the shoulder press. We're going to have the palms facing each other when the dumbbells are at the chest. Again, this allows us to work through a full range of motion while putting less stress on the shoulder than if we've got the elbow out to the side so that the upper arm's at a 90-degree angle from the body. There, we're putting a lot more stress on the shoulder, which could lead to some pain and some problems with the shoulder. So we're gonna have those palms facing each other, upper arms close to the torso, maybe about a 45-degree angle from the torso when we're in the down position. Then we're gonna press up in a straight line. And again, you have the option of rotating your palms forward if you would like, or you could keep your palms facing each other. It's totally up to you. But when you're in the bottom position, make sure the palms are facing each other. And just like the shoulder press, we want to make sure that the forearm stays perpendicular to the ground the whole time. Now, obviously, the upper arm is going to go parallel to the ground and even past that as we're lowering the weight. But when we lock out the bench press, the whole arm, the shoulder, elbow, and wrist should all be in alignment with each other, and the arm should be perpendicular to the ground, okay? So let's take a look at the bench press. So we're just going to lay down on our bench. Hips, upper back, and head should all be in contact with the bench, and your feet should be flat on the ground. If the bench is too high and you can't go flat foot on the ground, you can always put some blocks under your feet to give you a better position. All right? So we're going to lay back again with the palms facing each other, and then we're going to press straight up so that the shoulder, elbow, and wrist are all in proper alignment and the arm is perpendicular to the ground. Then we just lower back down under a controlled manner. Again, that upper arm should be no more than 45 degrees from the torso. Then we press up. Again, if you want to rotate the dumbbells, it's totally fine, but make sure the palms are facing each other when you're in the down position. And just like that shoulder press, we want to use a controlled, continuous tempo where we're focusing on increasing muscular tension. And again, we're going to shoot for 3 to 4 sets of 8 to 12 repetitions. Now, a little tip when you're getting set up, what I always like to do, especially when I'm using heavier weights on the dumbbells, I like to start with the dumbbells on my thighs like this, and I'm going to kick the weight up to my chest as I lay back. This makes it easy to set up with heavier dumbbells, especially when you're benching by yourself and you don't have somebody to spot you or hand you the dumbbells. So we just kick the weights up as we roll back onto the bench, and it's a great way to get set up. The third exercise that we're going to look at is kind of a forgotten exercise when it comes to strength training. This is the pullover. Now, the way that I'm going to do the pullover with the dumbbell, I'm going to use one dumbbell. You could use two, but I like holding on to one weight when I do this exercise. But again, if you need more load, you may have to use 2 dumbbells. And when you do so, you just press the dumbbells together to do this exercise. Now, the pullover is a great exercise for the lat muscles. It was done back in the kind of the golden era of bodybuilding. It was referred to as a rib cage expander or a chest expander. But the dumbbell pullover is basically loading the arm and rotating the shoulder in this manner. So what I'm doing is I'm using my lat to pull the arm down toward the body, just like I would in a pull down or a pull up exercise. It's just I'm going to keep my arm straight. I'm probably going to have a slight bend in the elbow, and I'm just going to rotate the shoulder so that I'm stretching the lat, lowering the weights behind my head, and then using the lat to pull the weight up and over. So again, this is the dumbbell pullover. So I'm going to hold the weight, palms facing each other. And again, I'm going to hold the weight up over my chest. I'm going to have a slight bend in the elbows. You don't have to keep your arm perfectly straight, but we don't want to turn this into a tricep press either, okay? So I want to keep those elbows tucked in toward each other. I don't want my elbows to flare out to the sides. And then I'm going to lower the weight behind my head. Should feel a big pull in the lat muscle underneath the armpit. And then I'm going to use that straight arm pullover to engage the lat muscle. All right? Again, using a controlled, slow tempo. And make sure that when you're doing that exercise, like I said, you have your elbows rotated in as you're reaching the weight behind your head. The elbows aren't flared out like this. That may cause a little bit of pain and some stress on the shoulders. So keep those elbows tucked in. Don't bend the elbows like you're doing a tricep press. Make sure you keep that arm, those elbows locked so that you're using the lat muscles to do this pullover exercise. Now, generally, you're going to have to go with a little bit lighter weight on this one. You're going to be limited at what the shoulders can tolerate and making sure that you're using the correct form. So I tend to do higher repetitions with this. We're going to say 2 to 3 sets of 15 at the low end, pushing up to 20, 25 at the high end would usually be a good target range for this because, again, you are using lighter weights, but still make sure you're using a slow, controlled tempo to keep the maximum amount of muscular tension on this exercise. Fourth exercise that we're going to look at is the single arm dumbbell row. Now this you're going to use your bench for support, and what we're going to do is we're going to put one knee and one hand on the bench. Make sure it's the same side of the body. So I'm going to work my left arm for the demonstration. I'm going to put my right knee and my right hand on the bench. And you want to make sure that when you're set up, that your spine is in a neutral position, that you're not rotating to the side, that you're not cranking the head up and looking forward like so, putting stress on the neck. You want to make sure that spine's in a neutral position. And then you're going to stretch your arm down. It's almost like we're starting a lawnmower or we're using a handsaw. It's kind of an arcing pull that we're going to do. But we're going to let that arm stretch down so that we feel pull behind the shoulder blade and the upper shoulder. And then we're going to use that upper back to pull the weight up to the upper abdomen and lower chest area. All right, so this is a single arm dumbbell row. Stretch down, pull that weight up toward the upper abdomen, squeeze in the upper back muscles, and then stretch it back down. Again, using a slow, controlled tempo and keeping that spine in a neutral position. Don't shorten up the range of motion. We want to make sure we're extending the arm all the way down. And again, make sure that you're engaging that upper back. If you don't, you're just going to turn this into an arm exercise where you're bending the elbow. So make sure that you're stretching through the upper back and that you're pulling with the upper back and the shoulder as you draw that weight up so that we hit the muscles of the upper back. So between the pullovers and the one-arm rows, great way to train the back. Now with the rows, we're probably gonna be able to go a lot heavier than we can with the pullover. So we're gonna recommend that lower rep range of 8 to 12 reps for 3 to 4 sets for the one-arm dumbbell row. So I wanna look at some auxiliary shoulder exercises. And the shoulder press is great. It works kind of the shoulder from a total development standpoint, but it is emphasizing the anterior deltoid, the front of the deltoid quite a bit. We want to make sure that we do a little bit of work for the medial and posterior aspects of the deltoid. So this is a side and rear delt exercise. We're going to do some lateral raises. Now, our basic lateral raise for the medial deltoid, we're going to start out with a slight bend in the elbows. I like to start with the weights in front, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise my arms up to the side so my upper arm is parallel to the ground, and then lower the weight back down. I don't want to go higher than the upper arm being parallel to the ground, and then right back down. Now you see I'm maintaining a slight bend in my elbow as I'm doing that exercise. You don't have to keep your arms totally locked out. If you go a little bit heavier, that may create a little stress on the elbow joint. So I like to keep a slight bend in the elbow as I raise those arms up to the side. All right. You're gonna feel this on the medial part of the deltoid. Because it is such a small muscle group that's being worked, probably gonna have to go a little bit lighter with this one. I like to push higher repetitions, usually about 12 to 15, sometimes even up to 20 for about 3 sets on these lateral raises. Now we're gonna focus on the posterior or the rear delt, the posterior part of the shoulder. What I like to do for this one is a bent over lateral raise. This can be done either standing or seated. If you're gonna do it standing, all you're gonna do is get into kind of a bent over row or a Romanian deadlift position. You remember those Romanian deadlifts that we did the other day on the lower body workout? And then you're gonna do your lateral raise. Squeezing the shoulder blades together, pinching the shoulder blades together as if you're performing that row. The way to do this from a seated position is to sit on the end of the bench. Then we're going to bend forward and let those weights go under the thighs. And then we're going to do our lateral raise, squeezing those shoulder blades together as we raise the weights up. Again, this is going to work the back side of the shoulder. It's often neglected when we're doing a lot of pressing, a lot of bench pressing, a lot of shoulder pressing. See a lot of mass in the front part of the shoulder and the pecs, but often not a lot on the back side. So we want to make sure that we're doing a lot of rowing and a lot of these rear delt exercises to balance out all the pressing that we're doing. Plus, it's just good for the health of the shoulder joint in general. So that's why I like to incorporate these lateral raises and bent over rear delt lateral raises. Now we want to finish up with some arm exercises. We've hit the chest, the shoulders, the lats, the upper back, the delts. We want to make sure that we're finishing with the biceps and the triceps. So one of my favorite dumbbell variations is just your basic dumbbell curl. So taking your dumbbells, holding those palms up, making sure that the elbows are fully extended. You often see people keep their elbows bent when they're doing their bicep curls, and that's not good. We want to make sure we fully extend and open up the elbow joint so that we're working the muscle through the greatest possible range of motion. And then with the palms facing up, we're just going to curl until the forearm touches the bicep, and then lower the weights all the way back down, extending that elbow completely open. There's some different ways that you can cook the bicep curls. You can do a hammer curl, palms facing each other. This shifts the emphasis a little bit more to the forearm and the outside of the bicep. Same mechanics though, extending the elbow all the way open when you lower the weight, and then bringing the forearms all the way up to the bicep. And then we could even turn the palms down into a reverse curl. And this is great for the forearm and the muscles on the outside of the elbow as well. So those are 3 variations that you can implement with your bicep curls. The trick is make sure that you're not going too heavy, because what you'll find is that people, when they're in an attempt to curl heavier weights, they're throwing their back into it and they're using a back extension to drive the weight up. It's going to take some of the emphasis off the muscle. I'm okay if toward the end of the set you're starting to fatigue a little bit and you use a little bit of body momentum. That's fine, but we want to emphasize that we're extending the joint through a full range of motion, and that we're closing the joint all the way up, bringing the bicep and the forearm together, and we're not using the body to swing the weights up. So again, slow controlled tempo, increasing, or we're focusing on maximum muscular tension during the exercise. We're going for about 3 to 4 sets, 8 to 12 repetitions on these as well. I'm gonna finish up with the triceps. One of the things that I like to do is the lying dumbbell extension, or the skull crusher, this is often referred to as. And to do this, you're gonna set up like you're gonna do your bench press. You're gonna lay down with the weights up over the chest, and we're gonna keep the upper arm perpendicular to the ground. We're just gonna be bending the elbow joint as we do this exercise. If we move the upper arm, this is gonna become more of a pullover type of exercise, and we don't wanna do that. We wanna keep that upper arm locked in position and just bend the elbow. Now the upper arm may move a little bit, and that's fine. You just don't wanna stretch the arm behind the head and then use the lats to launch the weights up, because we're trying to keep the stress on the tricep muscles as we do this exercise. So we're gonna lay down, palms facing each other, and we're gonna lower the dumbbells toward the shoulders, stretching out the triceps, and then extending, locking the arms straight out. All right? So that's your tricep extension. Again, slow, controlled tempo, focusing on increasing muscular tension throughout the exercise. And just like the biceps, we're gonna shoot for 3 to 4 sets of about 8 to 12 reps of that exercise. So there you have it. We got just nothing but a set of dumbbells and a flat bench, and we're able to do a complete full body, or excuse me, upper body workout that can be paired up with the lower body workout that I presented the other day. And a great way to do this is simply just to alternate on your training days, the lower body one day and then the upper body on the next. And you could get away with doing these depending on how good your recovery is, up to 3 times a week each if you like to train more frequently. If you don't, I would recommend at least doing the upper body workout once a week and the lower body workout once a week. And a lot of people tend to like the 2 on, or the 2 days a week of the lower body workouts, 2 days a week of the upper body workouts, and that tends to be a happy medium for a lot of people. But again, if you like to train, feel free to push these 3 times a week, alternate lower body one day, upper body one day, or you could do the lower body one day, upper body one day, take a day off, lower body, upper body, take 2 days off. That's a great way to get 4 workouts a week as well. You just want to make sure that you're supplementing these workouts with some abdominal exercises, and that's going to be the topic of my next video. I'm going to show you some weighted exercises that you could do with your dumbbells to work the abs and the torso muscle, and that would finish this dumbbell series out, giving you a complete full body option for kind of a minimalistic approach with dumbbell training, perfect for the home fitness enthusiasts and those of you who are still having to train at home, you know, due to the state of the world right now. So hopefully you enjoyed this this video series. If you've got any questions, feel free to shoot them to me at scott@eptsgym.com, and I'll be happy to answer those in an upcoming video. If you've got any topic suggestions for future videos, be sure to leave those to me as well. You can leave those in the comment section below the video. You can also follow me on social media. I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram. I'm fairly active on those. And be sure to hit the subscribe button down in the corner of this video if you'd like to get updates on future videos as they come out. And again, if you find that this video presented some value, or you might think that there's somebody that would benefit from this, I do encourage you to like and share it with some friends or some colleagues that you may feel would benefit from the information in these videos. And also, if you'd like some more focused assistance, if you're looking for a little bit more specialized training, I do offer online coaching and training as well. You can email me at scott@eptsgym.com to inquire about my online coaching program, but I offer program design. I offer exercise technique video analysis, where you would just send me a video of the exercise that you want me to analyze and critique and help you adjust to make sure that you're doing it properly and to fix any technical issues with the exercises that you're doing. So again, you can email me if you want to inquire about my online coaching program. And hopefully you're enjoying this video series. And as always, until next time, stay strong and stay healthy.